I'm going to share my screen now. If I could just get a confirmation that you are seeing just the slide on your end.
I see it.
Okay, great. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to a Tipalti hosted session discussing the strategic vision for global payables. My name is Corey Green, and I'm a solutions consultant at Tipalti, where I focus primarily on our partnerships with accounting and finance professionals. Today, I'm going to talk a little bit about the current state of global payables operations and some challenges you and or your clients may be facing. If there's one thing you take away from today's presentation, it's that the strategic solutions of payables will provide global scalability, increased operational efficiencies, compliance with current regulations, and an overall improvement to your financial close. I will start by providing a high-level overview on the challenges and changes facing finance teams today. As we all know, the role of accounting and finance teams has changed over recent years, shifting and broadening quickly into additional strategic, operational, and mission-critical responsibilities. A key challenge to that transition has been managing back-end processes that, unfortunately, are still manual. In fact, the upfront effort has drastically increased due to more exposure with areas such as the current economic environment, business model variations, globally dispersed vendors and suppliers, and the frequent changes in tax and regulatory compliance. Currently, accounts payable is the #1 most manual and time-consuming function in finance, and that stands in the way of the modern finance teams focusing on automation and ascending to higher standards of strategically focused tasks. Therefore, businesses expect more out of their finance and accounts payable functions. I'm going to show you how forward-looking businesses are leveraging their AP function to drive not only change, but success and growth. We're going to talk about the changing strategic role and changing perception of AP, and conclude with how to create and execute a strategic AP mission. CFOs these days are spending more and more time finding and funding new initiatives. They are also spending more time repositioning the finance functions. They are transforming it from a tactical to a strategic function. The goal is to turn the finance function into a partner that's going to help the business grow. It's no longer enough for finance just to be a financial scorekeeper. The business wants finance to help it identify opportunities for growth and to be a change agent. And that brings us to our first poll question. So feel free to engage on the chat with your responses. We want to know, how has the strategic importance of AP within your business or your clients' organizations changed over the past 3 years? A, is it of significantly higher strategic importance to your organization? B, is it of slightly higher strategic importance to your organization? C, has there been no change in strategic importance? D, is it of slightly lower strategic importance to your organization? Or E, is it of significantly lower strategic importance to your organization?
So, Corey, it looks like A and B.
Very good. Thank you, everyone, for your participation. Over the past several years, the strategic value of accounts payable to the organization has grown. And over the next 3 years, finance leaders expect that its strategic standing will continue to grow. With that being said, you might be wondering what's going on here. CFOs and other finance leaders recognize that if they can unlock the value of the data that flows through their accounts payable departments, and they can pull some of the levers that accounts payable controls in terms of payment timing and payment optimization, well, now they're able to free up cash to help the business grow. They're now able to get timely insights into cash, spend, burn rate, and runway, risk, and operational performance to help drive agility across the business. Businesses expect more out of accounts payable today. It's no longer enough for AP just to pay the bills, as if that was ever enough. Today, businesses, particularly fast-growing businesses, are looking for AP to provide them with better business visibility, with better analysis of cash flow, spend, trends, controls, and better operational performance. And the key to all of this is getting at that accounts payable data. Accounts payable sits on a treasure trove of information. The problem has been that for years, that information remained locked. Locked on paper that was stored in filing cabinets or cardboard boxes, and in some cases, stored off-site. Nobody could ever get to that information. Yet, think about all the data that resides on invoices and other documents that flow through accounts payable. It can tell us what's going on with our cash flow and corporate spending. It can help us identify risks and help us find areas of operational inefficiencies. The trick is we've got to find ways to access data, and that's key to becoming a strategic AP function. Today, finance departments are already using AP data in a myriad of ways. They're using it for forecasting, budgeting, planning, cash flow analysis, compliance management, and even for improving operational efficiency. But in many ways, this is only the tip of the iceberg for what it is that AP could be delivering to the organization. The thing is that many AP departments are being held back by manual, repetitive processes. Think of all the things that go into getting our suppliers paid. Long before you ever cut that check, you've got to collect tax documents, contact details, and banking information from your suppliers. You have to ensure that they're payable. You've got to process invoices and match across purchase orders and shipping documents. You've got to fix errors and mistakes, and then get that information into your ERP. And then, and only then, are we able to start paying our suppliers. All of these activities takes lots of time, and in most of your departments, lots of manual activity. Let's talk a little bit about what AP and supplier payment operations look like today. Onboarding suppliers is often done manually via phone or email, which isn't secure. And because the process of collecting bank details is manual and therefore prone to human error, and there's no capacity to validate information, nearly 50% of companies have a payment error rate of 3% or higher. Processing invoices often gets collective grown too, with many companies buried by paper invoices that require manual rekeying into the ERP. And then time is spent chasing down approvals, which is why the average all-inclusive cost for mid-market enterprises to process an invoice is $12.40. And then on the payment front, you may be dealing with suppliers who prefer paper checks or expensive wires, which adds more paperwork and manual effort. As your supplier base increasingly goes global, the payment process gets more complex, and the related workload increases dramatically, increasing manual time spent and adding more fraud and compliance risk to your AP process. A lot of time is also spent on supplier communications, from payment status inquiries to issue resolution for rejected payments. At month, quarter, and year end, reconciling with your accounting systems is also pretty time consuming, often involving a lot of spreadsheets stitched together. Nearly 50% of companies don't collect tax forms until year end or regularly collect them at all. But the IRS has hired 3,000 auditors to really crack down on tax compliance and has increased the penalties for not submitting 1099s and 1042s in the correct format by deadlines. So you have to worry about that too. On top of all of that, you're trying to keep on top of changes to mailing addresses, banking details, and keeping your vendor master file clean. It's a hectic process that happens time and time again, and it's not getting any easier, which is why we here describe time and again as inefficient, risky, chaotic, and manual. These challenges can have a real impact on your business. It's really hard to be efficient, scale your company's operations, and stay in compliance when you're dragged down by manual processes. You're missing opportunities to expand to other markets and subsidiaries. The finance cost structure is heavy, and you're exposing your company to potential audit failures, fines, and penalties. You don't have a sturdy foundation to manage growth. The question you need to ask is, will your AP team be left behind? In fact, 84% of the typical accounts payable practitioner's day is spent on manual, repetitive tasks. Tasks such as keying in invoice data, shuffling paper, chasing down information, fixing errors and mistakes, and responding to endless phone calls and inquiries from suppliers and other stakeholders about where things stand in the process. All that time that AP spends on those heads down activities is the same time they can't be spending on the types of things that'll help the business grow. Things like analyzing data, collaborating with procurement, and building relationships with suppliers. Those are the things that make AP strategic. Those are the kinds of things that help the business grow. But that's not the reality in most AP departments. Today, in most AP departments, we're saddled with high cost, slow cycle times, late payment penalties, missed payment discounts, and really tricky reporting. This is the stuff that's holding not only AP back, but finance, and in many cases, the business too. That brings us to our next bold question. We want to know which of the following is your or your client's AP department's biggest challenge today? A, is it lots of manual processes? B, is it slow invoice approval cycles? C, is it too many mistakes and errors? D, is it inadequate visibility into invoice data? Or E, is it too many supplier inquiries, either by phone or email? So what is it that AP should be focused on? Well, if your business is fast growing, or if you have designs on being fast growing, then you want AP to be a strategic powerhouse for your business. You want to use it as a growth engine to unlock that data, to get at that visibility, and you want it to be an enabler of more agile financial processes. And if you do that, now AP can help drive revenue growth. It can help drive profitability, and it can help deliver a better experience for not only your stakeholders, but your suppliers as well. It can help your business gain a competitive advantage. You're going to be able to attract high-valued suppliers and retain them, and even get some leverage at the negotiating table. And in some cases, that data that's uncovered by accounts payable can help drive innovation and therefore can help your business know how to stay ahead of trends. It's for all those reasons that more and more AP departments are automating. Today, 71% of AP departments plan to deploy more technology. And as staggering as that number is, which might surprise you, is that 44% of departments that are already as highly automated, well, they have plans to deploy more technology as well. What they are doing is they're trying to build a more strategic AP function. So, what does it take to build a strategic AP function? There's really just a couple of essential components to consider. The first is you want to create an AP function that uses digital capture and routing. You want to be able to aggregate all of your invoices onto a single platform, and you want to be able to digitize your invoices and extract data using optical character recognition and other advanced technologies. You want to eliminate all that manual keying, and you want to create an environment where you can capture and process invoices even when your staff can't get into the office. You want to have an environment where invoices are automatically matched up against purchase orders and shipping documents residing in your ERP. And in some cases where an invoice isn't matched for whatever reason, and you want to have someone take a look at that invoice, well, now you want to have collaborative tools such as dynamic digital workflows to route invoices automatically based on your preset business rules. You want to automatically notify an approver of an invoice awaiting action. You want to alert them when that invoice is approaching a due date. And you want to automatically escalate those invoices in case it is up against that due date. You also want to make it easy for suppliers to provide you with contact information, submit invoices, and check on the status of things. You want to have a self-service tool, and that's what an online portal does. You also want to make sure that your solution has built-in accountability and security. For example, today, your team might be working from home. Some of them might come back to the office, but there is just no telling when or if AP is completely coming back to the office. So you want to make sure you have a solution that provides you with controls, no matter where your staff works. And that means in the office, at home, or even on the go. You also want to make sure that your solution provides real-time visibility into where things stand in the process. So you'll want to know where things are with your cash, with your spending, and with your potential risk. You also want to be able to monitor where invoices stand in the process. To do that, you want dashboards that show you where invoices are. You want to have drill down capabilities to uncover the trends that are affecting your departments in your finance function. You want to have ad hoc reporting capabilities so you can see any data that you want in a moment's notice. You'll want mobile access so executives on the go can know what the trends are, where things stand, and you'll want export capabilities so you can connect AP with your downstream systems and processes without anyone ever having to key them. If you create an environment like this, now you're going to be able to turn AP into a growth engine. Now you're going to be able to stop spending all your time on manual activities, and you're going to be able to start focusing your staff on the things that matter most. This chart tells the tale of the tape. Amongst CFOs who have already automated their finance function, many of them were able to eliminate 40% or more of the manual processing time associated with AP. And what's important here is that in many of these cases, these organizations reallocated their staff. They didn't eliminate it because what they wanted to do is get these people focused on what they were hired to do in the first place, the kinds of things that drive business growth. If you want to have an AP function that's going to become a strategic powerhouse, you need to have not only the technical capabilities, but the infrastructure as well. You want a modern solution? You want one that provides you with 24/7 availability. You want a solution that's 100% cloud-based. You want one that provides real-time interaction, regardless of where your staff works, and that means across town or across the globe. And that brings me to our third and final poll question. Feel free to interact with the chat function. This time we want to know, which of the following is your company's or firm's top focus for improvement? A, is it achieving higher revenues and or profitability? B, are you after delivering an enhanced customer experience? C, is your company trying to achieve a competitive advantage? D, are you trying to increase operational efficiency? Or E, are you looking to mitigate risk?
They're saying all of the above.
Couldn't agree more. Thank you. The opportunity to transform an AP organization is both significant and achievable, and should be undertaken sooner rather than later. According to a 2022 survey of mid-market businesses conducted by Ardent Partners, the clear majority, at 69%, of mid-market businesses point to smarter systems as the key to success. Additionally, deeper and more agile analytics at 56% remain a vital component for AP to achieve higher performance levels in the years to come. Executive support for an AP transformation at 42%, and the eradication of tactical tasks at 39% are also crucial pieces of AP's ongoing advancement. According to AP leaders in the mid-market, supporting and enabling organizational success will require improved collaboration, automation, and the acceptance of innovations and changes to how things have been done in the past. These are the percentages of leaders who predict that their organizations will possess the following attributes in 2 years. 81% predict more automation across AP processes. 53% predict a digitally transformed payment process. 40% predict improved collaboration between AP and key stakeholders. 40% also predict an innovation-ready culture. And 38% predict that AP will serve as a hub of corporate intelligence. Manual processes are a drag on AP productivity and business growth, and still, many AP departments are reluctant to automate their processes because of the perceived cost, resource burden, risk, and change management issues associated with automation. Modern AP automation solutions uniquely address the biggest barriers to accounts payable automation. The operational efficiencies provided by AP automation free staff to focus more time on higher value activities that drive business growth. By minimizing those manual tasks and adopting automation, I would argue that accounts payable can play a big role in helping support the strategic initiatives of the business. Thank you.
We have a couple minutes for questions. I have one if you guys have time to answer.
Yeah, I was going to open it up for questions, so go ahead.
Yeah, because we're at the end here. But my question is, okay, NetSuite in and of itself has a whole AP process, and they're getting better at automating some of this stuff. But in addition to that and beyond that, because they're not where you guys are and your competitors are, what sets Tipalti aside from the competition as far as using Tipalti to basically automate AP? So I
And then
know.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm just curious. Again, my role here with GYF is business development. So I know NetSuite inside and out from the AP perspective. We've implemented and supported it. And they are getting into the OCR and that kind of thing. What is the driving force? Is it the international wire capability? What is it that Tipalti is set aside from some of the others
I
that
think
are out
there's
there?
a few things. One, if it gives you any indication, we've been NetSuite Partner of the Year for 3 years. So both a competitor, but more often a user with them. So, we've had a great relationship with them, but there are some things that set us apart. International certainly is one part of it. The ability for us in our vendor portal to be able to do a lot of things that we can do because we believe that the entire AP process works better if the vendor portal is correct up front, both with collecting tax forms, whether it be, creating the rules around whether or not they're set up correctly, doing the OFAC and sanction screenings, all of that kind of at the front end. And then multi-entity, international, being able to do the PO matching inside of the system, and then getting all of that information over to NetSuite directly. There's a lot of advantages of using Tipalti, and I can set up a call certainly with you separate.
Well, no, I like the vendor thing because when we always do implementations, we always tell the AP department, you guys need to have a vendor onboarding process in place. It's not baked into NetSuite, right? It's a process thing. So that's a huge one.
Especially if you have a lot of vendors, for sure.
Exactly, and the 1099s and all that. But so then the other part is when you're bringing it into NetSuite, what levels of detail can you bring it into NetSuite? Because NetSuite has the purchase order, or is that going up to Tipalti and then matching, or how's that feed back and forth? Because I think a lot of people here, everyone's using NetSuite. So what's that feedback?
Yeah, I'll jump in here. We support the purchase order creation on the Tipalti side alone, but working with NetSuite, what we are able to do is bring in POs that are created within NetSuite, as well as any receipt of goods that are logged in NetSuite. So both of those are synced in through an API integration, and they sit in our AP PO matching module, where when the bills come into Tipalti, and I think that's the one thing to distinguish, is that instead of bills being keyed in on the NetSuite side, they would filter into Tipalti first. So with the PO and receipt being pulled in from this NetSuite, once the bills are brought in and go through a review process, that's where they are going through a review and matching. So we really work on the review of the bill and align to what's been done with the PO and receipt. And if there are any exceptions to the matching process, that may just trigger the team to look at either discussing with the vendor if the bill is different, or maybe going back to the original PO and making adjustments as needed. So does that help provide some clarity on your question?
Yeah, that does somewhat. Because again, I know John is one of our customers on, and they do a lot of international wiring or just wiring in general. And so anything you can add on that?
International wires?
Well, like, do you guys, when a wire is done, is it coming out of Tipalti? Do you guys hold any funds before, so many days before, or does it immediately connect to and go?
Yeah, so the workflow to accommodate the money transfer is a matter of submitting the funds required to a for benefit of owner account that we set up on behalf of our customers. They would fund that account, and as long as the funds are in there, payments can be processed that same day. So there's not necessarily any holding time. And then as a wire stands, it could be delivered to that vendor that same day, or maybe the next day, depending on their geographic location. And so depending on the suppliers and where they're set up. We also are accommodating different transfer capabilities from an international perspective, such as a local bank transfer, SEPA or SEPA, and so there's options there to consider that may reduce costs if the customer is used to burdening that cost, that this might be an alternative payment method. Or we could configure it to pass through that cost of the wire if the supplier is needing a wire only. So there's some ways to configure it to aid in that cost savings there.
And Angie, are you talking about converting those funds?
Well, it's converting the funds, but also then at reconciliation, what's coming over? Like, how are they reconciling? Down to the transaction, or are they reconciling just to a lump sum moved out of the account?
It is to the transaction level. Yeah.
Okay.
Everything is.
John or Carl, do you have anything? Because I know you guys have been deep in NetSuite stuff. So, you guys have any questions?
And we'd be glad to set up a call to dive deeper into this. I know we're past time, and I certainly want to be respectful.
Yep.
But we would be glad to set up a deeper dive and go into those international capabilities and talk through what that looks like. In addition, Angie, I can walk you through the vendor portal so
Yep.
that as well.
Okay.
Yeah, and Angie, sorry, I was on mute. Just to answer your question, currently we're working through a few things, so I can't really answer the question now, but certainly I'd be happy to revisit it.
And, even after this, you can reach out to me and I can, get a hold of Corey or Carrie or anyone at Tipalti, and we can answer any questions. We can set up a further demo. We can do whatever you guys need. So just, shoot me an email and we'll work with Tipalti to answer any questions or show you how it works, right?
Perfect.
Okay, anybody else? Any other questions? No? Well, Corey and Carrie and team, I appreciate you taking the time to do this presentation. Again, we'll post it, and please reach out with any questions and we'll get you connected. So thank you.
Appreciate your time, everyone. Have a great day.
Us.
Thank you all.